First question. What's the date?
The 23rd.
Good morning. It's March the 23rd, Friday, 2018, MUT 213. I hope you're all well today. Selena said she was going to Florida. Is she not in the choir? Don't you sing tonight or something?
She is, but
Did we sing tonight?
Or is it tomorrow? Well, tomorrow's the
We do
gig.
sing tonight, but we are performing
Oh,
more.
you're not in it.
I'm in it.
We're in
Singing or playing?
Yeah.
Singing. LOL.
Y'all are all
No,
singing?
we're not.
Okay.
I'm supposed to.
What, did Freddie ask you?
We're not required to be there.
Get your
because
butt in
it's
here,
during
son.
spring break.
He said he's not coming.
Oh,
So she can't like make us perform,
Lord.
but almost everybody is unless they made other plans.
she might have made other plans.
Say that, no. Say what I said. Get your butt in here, son. Say that. Do it, Sam. Did you say it? No, tell him to get his butt in here, son. Hey, he's so funny.
Everybody has their homework for Monday.
Wait, what? Boy?
Does anyone have their homework for Monday? You don't have to take it out. We're not going to be working on it today.
Oh.
You don't have your homework for Monday. It's sitting right here on this desk.
No, that's it. Never get no one.
KJ,
Every week come back. I forgot what it looks like.
Kyle,
It looks exactly the same.
Emma,
It looks exactly the same.
do you have homework? Michael, Key, just one little scanned paper left in the file. Okay, we're gonna do a little bit more of our one-to-one today in a more organized fashion. When we think about counterpoint, we think about 16th century counterpoint and 18th century counterpoint. In 18th century counterpoint, we like to think of the music of J.S. Bach, maybe Domenico Scarlatti, George Tillman. It's contrapuntal, meaning independent lines come together to form the harmony. Okay, in one-to-one species counterpoint, everything is a consonant. Now there are two kinds of consonants. There are perfect consonances, which are only the following: octave, unison, perfect fifth. A perfect fourth is not a consonant, it is a dissonance when it is above the bass note. And I'm sure you've heard me do this before. That doesn't sound consonant unless you're rock and roller, because it wants to go to there. That's a perfect fourth. Now, when is a perfect fourth consonant? When I put a third under it, the fourth is consonant above it. But it's not a fourth above the bass, is it? It's a sixth above the bass at that point. So in two-voice counterpoint, a fourth is always a dissonance. Okay? What did I just say?
Fourth is always
A perfect fourth is always a dissonance. Okay? Perfect consonants are octaves, fifths, unison. Imperfect, sixths and thirds. Now, one thing about sixths, we love them except melodically. A Major 6 is not allowed melodically. Okay, so to have a counterpoint, we have a cantus firmus, which is a given melody. Now, in the melody that we write with it, we're not going to write major 6th. Okay? Occasionally we will later, but to begin with, we don't write major 6th. Now, what else do? We don't, this is melodically or horizontally. No major 6th. No dissonant intervals. Does that include a perfect fourth? Not exactly. Okay. You can melodically use a perfect fourth. What could you not use? What is a dissonant interval? What is always a dissonant interval? Dissonant interval. Dissonant. What? Okay. What are always dissonant intervals? It rhymes with augmented.
Augmented.
Augmented intervals are always dissonant. So could you do this? No. No. Could you do this? Yes. Yes. Provided that this became that or that. The interval still has to resolve itself when it's diminished. So what else would not be allowed? Any leap of a seventh at this point. Now if you look at the music of Bach, you'll see exceptions. You are not Bach. Okay, we are writing learned exercises. We're not writing music exactly. Okay? So, now's your first chance of the first true one-to-one counterpoint that you will write. Are you ready? First species. And because so many of us are on marching band scholarships, we will do it in the key of the flat. CF stands for cantus firmus. And we will now, from now on, write everything in the key of B flat. Just use accidentals. Wait, no, we won't, actually. Okay, so here is our cantus firmus. Da, da, da. Okay, this is the cantus firmus. Now, to make it 18th century style, it needs to be what? It needs to be tonal. What does tonal mean? It has a harmonic progression that fits into a basic voice leading pattern. Okay, if the cantus firmus is in the treble and it begins on this note, what note is in the bass? No. F would be a fourth.
A D.
No. The first note is always a perfect consonant. Can we write a fifth? Could it be an E flat? No, because that would make no sense. What could it be?
B flat.
I think B flat is the answer. So our choice here is one of these. Arbitrarily, I'll write this one, but I may change my mind. Okay, if I were to write a Roman numeral analysis of this, I might think it might be 1, 5, 1, 1. I might think that. I don't know why, but I might. okay? What? See, I changed my mind. If we're going to not write perfect intervals here, I'm not going to write a D or a G here, okay? Do we understand that? No perfect consonances. No D's or G's there. No D's or G's there. What do you think would best harmonize that note given the Roman numeral analysis that I've made?
A B flat. Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, now, if you were thinking, what would Dr. Durant say? What would you think this to that would be? Exactly. Limit your thoughts to theory thoughts, though, okay? No one knows the darkness inside a man's mind. That looked very easy, didn't it? Now, what do you think might imply 5 and really work nicely for this note here? I'm going to tell you right off, a C is not correct, okay?
What about an A?
An A would be my first choice, but in reality, an F is acceptable because it's a perfect consonant on a weak rhythmic, on a weak beat. Okay? Now, in true one-to-one, we don't have measures. We just have whole note, whole note, whole note, whole note. So in true 16th century species type counterpoint, we're going to use a little more rules, but we're going to do 18th century species counterpoint for now to go towards writing our binary two-voice binary pieces that we've sort of been working on already, correct? This is what I teach in junior theory, but I'm thinking it might be more appropriate in sophomore theory to teach species counterpoint. Now, so let's hear the difference between that. Sometimes what makes the decision for me is what it sounds like. That sounds like a something, doesn't it? Okay, alternate version. That kind of works too, but I don't think it's as basic as this. Although, what might be fun, start in the other octave. Can you say, where is Jacques? Or Pharaoh? Aye. To me, we have to have a clausula vera. Why did I say to me? If I were writing that, I would say to me, I need a clausula vera. Me being me, as me, is saying, the cadence needs to be a clausula vera. What is a clausula vera? It is the true close, meaning that. And that's from modality, right? It would be in your many of your modes. Say we're in the Dorian mode. You feel very Dorian now? That would be a clausula vera there. In B flat, oh. point, all we are lacking is one note. I'll tell you what the note is not. It's not a C. And I'll tell you for two reasons. A,
Yeah.
it is a perfect consonant. B, it would provide a oblique motion, and we have no repeated notes. Now, in true counterpoint, repeated notes or oblique motion is the strongest motion. Think of a suspension. That's oblique, right? Okay, what note is it?
A.
Yeah.
It can't be F.
Okay.
Wait, oh,
It's
okay, yeah.
not
So it has
F. F is a perfect consonant.
So it'd have to be A.
I'm not feeling it.
I like A or E.
I would like E flat better than E. Let me play this.
But
We're not doing anything chromatic until we're in the minor mode, okay? Your ear will tell you. What note is it?
Flat.
A flat?
E flat. Yeah.
Let me play it with an E flat.
Oh, I was about to say,
How about an A there? Not bad. Let me tell you the difference. This, okay, what we have here is 3 consecutive thirds. 4 is your maximum, okay? And in something this short, 3 would seem like a lot. Now, why do I say things like this? It's more appropriate than just cursing, spinning around and cursing, which is another option I have. But the first choice is, what are we trying to do? We're trying to make the two voices as independent as possible. So what is the most independent thing is probably contrary motion, but consecutive parallelisms don't promote independent lines. Okay?
Yeah.
Now that was a very easy example, but you can see how much thinking I put into it. And what do we think first? Well, it's like, what's the basic voice leading pattern? Okay, I'm saying this is 5, but in reality, it probably more supports 7, but the idea is the thing, right? We should be able to make these leaps now. What is a basic voice leading pattern? The original chart, right? And what are the options on the chart still apply to the counterpoint? So 1 to 2 to 1 is not an option. Second inversion chords are rarely an option in 2-voice counterpoint, okay? Because they don't make for independent lines. Okay, I'll say those things again since no one really heard any of that. You want to do another one just for fun?
Yes.
I mean, big
Yes.
fun, extra fun,
Yeah.
and this one. I've got a little something in the key of D that I think you'll like. I like to recycle when I can, so I'm saving my grand staff. And even the bar lines. Anybody playing the jazz band last night? Do we have any jazz bands here? How'd it go?
It was really good.
I'm sorry I missed it. I would have been there if the PA had been there, but it wasn't. Usually when I'm doing the sound, or when Jared's doing the sound, the difference between the master fader up and the master fader down is very slight. You only know you have a PA when it's feeding back. All the recording go well? Excellent. Excellent. I like that idea of the acoustic jazz band. It makes the brass players work a little harder to balance with the saxophones, but I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. A good thing. Anybody here, the new kid play trumpet yesterday?
A little bit.
The candidate, is that your friend?
Yes.
Oh, no.
I did a little bit.
I knew Daddy's young enough to be my son. Although Dr. Greener is actually younger than me too. So.
What?
What?
This? Really?
What?
Nuh-uh.
Yes, he is.
Uh-uh.
He is.
I would not.
But
I
like
don't,
a
I know,
year.
me neither. How old are you?
I'm 60.
How old is Dr. Bird?
59.
There ain't
Oh,
no way.
okay, that's.
No.
Nuh-uh.
Ask him.
Grandpa?
Google? What?
I think he looks more like 45, so I'm flattered that you think he looks older.
Maybe music theory is like formaldehyde, it just preserves you while you wither away.
There are
inside.
chemicals involved, believe me. Let me do my Santa laugh. Okay, gotta get to work here because spring break's coming.
It started there.
Okay, immediately we have a leap of a major sixth, don't we? Well, I'm sorry. If it's in the Kansas Pyramus, we'll have a major sixth. Okay, the note you want to start on is not F sharp.
D.
D. Yeah, it's D.
Voice of change.
All right, you do it on your own because I already did mine. Do I have an example of this?
I got it. You said you can't repeat bass notes?
No repeated notes. It's just like a game, you know?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Also, melodic writing doesn't include leaps of the seventh. I've told you that, right? But it also is not going to do that either. It's not going to arpeggiate to a seventh. And generally, if you leap in one direction, you want to step in the opposite direction if possible. That's just good writing, right? Leap down, step up, leap down, step up, leap up, step down, leap up, step up. Okay, we have a little difference there. Now, what do we know that the ending is already gonna be? It's gonna be a D.
Yeah.
What is the note before it? Everyone can answer this because they are truly closing on this.
E.
Someone's stem went the wrong direction. I'll have to edit that out of the video. Okay, pretty easy, huh? What do you think the next note is? Well, let's do this. 1, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1. Maybe. Maybe. Could this also be 4? Could this be 4? Could this be 4?
If you want.
Why would I want a retrogression in my counterpoint?
Exactly.
How many we got here today? 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. Can't count by 2s. 1, 2.
Well, you got a pretty good request for excellence.
70%. That's gonna take us to the next level.
Let's try to increase it.
But actually, a 70% in this class is more like a 73. Okay?
Round it up.
How many of you would be, the one thing that you could do here is just write a bunch of parallel thirds, couldn't you? But I'm not. I'm not.
If you want.
That's contrary there, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Now, what would be your best guess for the next note? No, I think that's a strong B.
Yeah, I'm silly.
What about C?
Like,
That's true.
you, in, you, boom, bap. I was orchestrating for the class.
Ah, I like it.
Okay, another thing that could be allowed here is an authentic cadence. So let's keep in mind that we could use an A there. A perfect authentic cadence, as opposed to Claude Libero, which is an imperfect authentic cadence. Shortly we will be able to do that. Okay, if I go to G, I could do this, couldn't I? That would be nice, wouldn't it? What else would be super doggone compelling? And what is other people's choices for this note?
What about a C?
Like as in a C sharp?
Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
meant.
okay. And then what on the next note?
Mm,
You could go A or E.
yeah.
You could go A or E. Now, this is certainly gonna get confusing, but this is one way. I'm sort of like taking my 4-voice or 3-voice part writing and trying to make it work as 2-voice part writing, because I still have to imply the tonal movement, the basic voice leading pattern, regardless of anything else. Now, what are my choices here? I think we have, and that's an extra large D, so we want to make it the best. Now, if I've got, this is kind of too confusing, I'm not going to be able to do this any longer. All right, if this note is A, what note is this? And what would it imply?
Do an F.
Okay,
F sharp.
F sharp would imply a D major chord.
You could
Mm-hmm.
do.
What would B imply? And don't say 4. 4! Man, sometimes I slice my drive on the driving range so far right that the people on the first fairway are in play. like 200-yard slice. It's really impressive. It's just not good for golf.
That's really impressive.
Let me say that this would be deceptive, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. So that gives us a whole nother thing that we could think about, right? Okay, now what if this note is E, the nice, where would I go from E? Where would I go from E? I don't think so, because that would be a perfect consonant. Honest wrong, dude. What is the next note? If I'm writing E here, say I go F sharp, C sharp, E, next note would
F.
sharp.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so already we have, now, could A go to F sharp? No. Could this A go to F sharp? Yes. This is a major 6, so we're not going to write that in the bass. All right, now we have more than one option for our extremely simple example here. C sharp, E, F sharp. That made a lot of sense, yeah? How about the other way? Yes, I love it too. I love it too. And even though it's not what I have on my page, I'm going to change it. This book here, which is in its 4th edition, author dead, middle name Wheeler. I used this when I was your age studying counterpoint. So 40 years with Kent Wheeler Kennan I have been. I still find much joy out of crafting the crap. Okay. So now I can have a progression that implies 5 to 6 to 4, which is cool, yes? Now, contrapuntally speaking, I might think, well, C sharp's a hell of a note there too. Is that correct? Could I write that C sharp there? And you say, no, sir, because that's an augmented 4th, isn't it? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Okay, it's not fair. Is this one allowed? Yes, that's a diminished 5th. That's allowed. Do I want to do any of those? I don't know. What would be implied if I wrote an F sharp here? Da da da. And look at the beautiful counterpoint it makes. What does the F sharp imply? Right, good, cadential 6/4. Y'all are catching on super fast. So this is now going from an easy 1-4-5-1 example to a less than easy 1-4-5-1 example. Really contrapuntal there. Okay, different version? Yes, Jared.
That's exactly what
Wow.
Now that you've said that with everybody's open mics on their cell phones, the FBI will be visited.
What?
The FBI will be visited. You know, if they were surveilling everything that our phones heard or saw, that's a lot of data. That is a lot of data.
That's what I'm saying.
Here we go for alternate version. Yes.
Ginger, you say it.
Wow, thanks. How is that a cadential 6/4 if the third of the 1/4 is in the bass right there?
Implied.
Oh,
It's like, what basic voice leading pattern? Well, you know, that's a good point. It's just one. It's not cadential 6/4. It's just one. 1/6. Is it really 3? No, it's not. It's not really 3.
So the second version is okay if it's, was it?
In that situation, no.
It's a one.
If you had a D above it, as in, wait, never mind. We'll get to an example of that, I promise you. I promise, 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 promise. Now here is an earlier version that Dr. Durant did. Okay, that was two. Often with counterpoint, you have, back in the day, there used to be a company called Sears and Roebuck Company. You ever heard of Sears? I don't know what's happened to them. But they would sell their goods in a good, better, best. That was their advertising. Here's the good tire. Here's the better tire. Here's the best tire. And they did a lot of products like that. There are often situations in counterpoint and par writing that are good, better, best. The thing about good is it is correct. Like a good Sears tire would not come with a hole in it. It would just have a 40,000 mile guarantee instead of a 60,000 mile guarantee. And if you really want to know about your sports car, buy the best set of all-weather tires that you can get, and the ride will just change your life. Put good tires on your car. When I was your age, I only bought used tires, and they blew out all the time. And you know what I did? I changed the tires. One time they blew out on I-95 up north of Jacksonville, headed to Cumberland Island. Ever been to Cumberland Island? It's beautiful. You have to take a ferry there, and then it's all remote. There's no facilities. It's really beautiful. But that's a long story. Let's do more counterpoint, because that's where it's really fun. What key would you like to be in?
How about do the same cantus firmus in B minor?
We're not to minors yet, sorry. How about, whoever said F major, I think that's a good choice. And you know what else? None of these had time signatures, so counterpoint actually does have time signatures. Oh, 4-2! What key was I in? Is it in C? No, F. Suddenly forgot where the key signature went. Is it before the time signature or after the time signature? Okay, the cantus firmus is no longer in the soprano. It's in the bass. But I'm going to give you the first note in the not cantus firmus. Now, what I can tell you here is that this needs to be a perfect authentic cadence. Okie dokie. So what are my notes going to be here? They have to be this, or an octave lower. One of these two things is your final notes. Okay? Can you take a note on that? Let's go. I'm going to go with the lower one, just so... Okay, get to work. Ooh, this is exciting. This one is exciting. Man, look at fun. Okay, who decided what the next note is? And what is the harmonic rhythm? What do we decide about harmonic rhythm? It's like the rhythm of the harmony. So I would think this is solidly a 1 chord. This could be 6 or 4, couldn't it?
Yes.
It could be 6 or 4. This could be 5. And this could be 5, 1, 1, 4, 5, 1. That seemed easy enough, huh? Okay, what am I gonna make my next second note? Any decisions made here? Who wants to say B flat? You do? Because that's correct. Well, what else could be correct? I guess F could, but the difference with the F is that it just makes for very parallel motion. Now what I'm going to do here is again use contrary motion, but now if I write an E here, it's going to require that I go to an F there, which is not happening, is it?
We'll just go down to E.
Go down to what?
D.
Could do that.
The
How?
I want to write an A here. What note is this? Could it be an E? Yes. What is another choice that you could make?
C.
Huh?
C.
Greg was so expecting for me to say mean things to him, but it's a weak B perfect consonant, and we've already kind of implied the chord there. So it's really kind of a re-voicing of that chord. I think that's an excellent choice. Now here, we could do a number of things, but we could go to C. I'm going to go to F and have this parallel moment here, just so we can go ahead and get out of class. Okay? Any questions?
Can you play that note?
Huh?
Can you play that note?
I
There we
did play it, you just didn't hear it because you've been standing next to me. The tuba's too long. Have a nice day. Have a great break. Don't drink and drive, and be nice to your mama.
You too.
Daddy's helping out. Be nice to your mama. How about a French 6? We're gonna do
Call your girlfriend.
Well, one of my friends had them, they just did
Just to get
Just to get one, because I want one for my trip.
I was trying to find like, I was just trying to see like,
If you wanted one
I've been written on this page. These are all major.
yeah.
trying to find.
Probably get to.
Yeah.